Today, we are breaking down a commentary script, and this one is tackling a really heavy subject.
Yeah, it is.
The source material is a video essay. It's called Bassem, Youssef, and Candace Owens Mock Erika Kirk. And it's analyzing a conversation between Owens and Youssef about the death of Charlie Kirk, and specifically the charge that they were laughing at his widow. So, very charged topic.
A lot of emotion there.
Yeah, a lot of emotion. Let's get into the machinery of how this argument.
And it is machinery. You know, it's got moving parts, and some work really well, but some are definitely grinding the gears a bit. I'm ready.
Okay, so right off the bat, we have to talk about the tone. The author here is clearly furious. And honestly, looking at the source clips they're critiquing, where people are laughing about a widow, that anger makes sense.
It's justified.
It is. But the first major issue we have to fix is how that anger is sort of manifesting in the script. It relies so heavily on what I'd call playground branding.
Playground branding is a very polite way to put it.
Yeah.
I was reading through the first page, and I felt like I was dodging dodgeballs. You've got Bassem, imbecile Youssef. You've got Candy for Candace. You've got Dingbat.
Right.
And then it just escalates to demonic witch.
Imbu Youssef was the one that really stopped. It's a pawn, I guess?
A clumsy one.
A very clunky. And here's the problem with all this. The writer is trying to claim the moral high ground.
Of course.
The thesis is these people are behaving cruelly toward a grieving woman. That is a serious, weighty moral stance. But the moment you start calling people dingbats,
Or twisting their names into insults, yeah.
you're not on the high ground anymore. You're down in the mud with them.
Okay, can I push back on that just slightly?
Go for it.
Purely from a know your audience perspective. This is YouTube commentary. Snark is like the currency of the realm.
True.
So if the writer is playing to a base that already hates these people, doesn't the name calling actually signal, hey, I'm on your side? Doesn't it sort of build the tribe?
That is a fair question. And look, if the goal is just preaching to the choir, getting a few lol-owned comments, then fine, call them names.
Right.
But we are looking at this through the lens of effect, of persuasion.
Okay.
If you want this critique to actually land, if you want to convince a fence-sitter that, yeah, Youssef and Owens crossed the line, the insults are just a barrier. They're a distraction.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking about the widow, I'm thinking, wow, this writer sounds angry, kind of immature.
It's an ethos problem, isn't it?
It's completely an ethos problem. It attacks your credibility. It's the difference between a judge delivering a sentence and some guy screaming in a parking lot. The judge has power because they're dispassionate.
So let's look at the fix here. Because it's easy to say, stop insulting people, but that energy has to go somewhere. The anger's real. How do you channel it?
You channel it into the evidence. This is the show don't tell rule, but, applied to outrage. You don't tell me Youssef is an imbecile.
Right.
You show me what he did, and you let me decide he's an imbecile.
Okay, let's workshop that. Take the line, Bassem, imbecile Youssef, that dingbat. How do we rewrite that? How do we make it sharper?
You strip out the adjectives, and you amplify the action.
Okay.
You say something like Bassem Youssef, a man who sat there, comfortably laughing while discussing a woman who had just buried her husband.
Ooh, yeah, that hits way harder.
Right? It's so cold. It's factual. And it makes him look 1,000 times worse than calling him a name ever.
Because when you call him a name, it sounds like you have the problem.
Exactly. When you describe the action, it proves he has the problem.
And that works for the Candace Owens stuff, too. There's that part where the script calls her a demonic witch. And look, maybe the writer believes that spiritually, but rhetorically, it's just weak.
So weak.
But the text actually has the perfect weapon already. It quotes her. She says, I'm actually grieving here.
That quote is the smoking gun.
It is. So instead of name-calling, you just put those two things side by side. You say, Owens looks the camera in the eye and demands sympathy, claiming, I'm actually grieving here. Yet, in the very same breath, she mocks the grief of a widow.
And that juxtaposition is it's devastating. You don't need to add, she's a witch.
The hypocrisy is the witch.
The hypocrisy is the witch. That's a great line. And that actually, it leads us right into the second big issue in this script.
Okay.
We've dealt with the insults, but now we have to deal with the assumption. The script relies so heavily on a psychological diagnosis of Candace Owens that, well, it reads like fan fiction, frankly.
You're talking about the woman scorned theory.
I am. The script asserts this, as if it were a biological fact, that Owens is attacking Erika Kirk because she was secretly in love with Charlie Kirk.
Right.
It says Charlie loved Erika more than he loved Candy, and that Owens is jealous.
It's very soap opera. And look, I get why the writer went there. It adds narrative drama.
Sure.
It gives a reason for the cruelty. She's not just mean, she's heartbroken. But you're right, it's a huge structural weakness. Because why? We can't prove it.
You can't prove it. It's the telepathic detective problem.
Yeah.
You're trying to prosecute a thought crime. The listener might be nodding along about the mockery, but the moment you say she wanted to marry Charlie, the listener pauses. They think, wait, how do you know that? And once they start doubting your facts, they start doubting your entire argument.
It creates a trap door for the audience to just escape through.
Exactly.
If I'm a listener and I don't buy the romance theory, I can just dismiss the whole video as gossip.
It's pure speculation presented as objective reality. Nothing screams you hate Erika more than this. Well, actually, maybe lots of things scream that. Maybe they just don't like each other politically.
It could be anything.
We just don't know.
So is the suggestion to cut the motive entirely? Because, people do want to know why someone is acting this way.
You don't have to cut it, but you have to reframe it. You have to move from what you called mind read to observation.
Okay.
If you want to keep the jealousy, you have to soften it. Make it a theory. You say something like, Owens' intense fixation on Erika Kirk. It raises questions about her personal investment. You let the audience infer the jealousy.
You don't spoon-feed it.
You don't spoon-feed it to them as fact.
Or, and this is probably what I would do, you pivot to the stronger argument that's already sitting right there.
The hypocrisy one.
The hypocrisy one, we talked about it. The script points out that Owens claims you have no right to dictate to others how to grieve. That's her shield, but she uses that shield while attacking how Erika Kirk smiles or laughs.
That is the gold mine. Forget the secret romance. The argument is this: Owens demands absolute grace for her own grieving process, but treats Erika Kirk's grief like a performance to be critiqued.
Yes.
That is a documented, undeniable contradiction. It doesn't rely on knowing what's in her heart.
No, it just relies on what came out of her mouth.
Exactly. It's like being in a courtroom. The secret love theory, thrown out. Lack of evidence.
But the hypocrisy argument gets a conviction because the evidence is right there, on tape.
Exactly. Stick to the fingerprints. Stick to the quotes.
Okay, let's move to the third lens, structure and focus. Because there is a pacing issue in the middle of the script that feels like hitting a speed bump at 60 miles an hour.
Oh, the J.P. Sears section?
The J.P. Sears section.
I was reading this, totally engrossed in the conflict, the widows, the mockery, all this moral outrage, and then suddenly I'm reading a paragraph about a t-shirt idea.
It was so jarring. The writer spends a solid chunk of time apologizing for a previous video about J.P. Sears, debating whether they should have even platformed him.
And then the merch idea?
And then a brilliant shirt idea they had. It's this weird meta-commentary about their own YouTube channel maintenance.
It's the classic killing your darlings failure, right? The writer probably really liked that t-shirt idea.
For sure.
They probably genuinely feel bad about the other video. But does the audience care right now, in this moment?
No. Not at all. It feels like a commercial break during a funeral.
That's a good way to put it.
You've built this solemn, angry atmosphere, and then you cut to, by the way, check out my merch concept. It just trivializes the main subject.
It also confuses the timeline. If I'm a listener and I haven't seen the previous video, I'm completely lost.
Who is J.P. Sears?
Who is this guy? Why are you apologizing? I thought we were talking about Candace Owens.
So, why do creators do this? I think sometimes they mistake transparency for content.
Yes.
They think, I need to be open with my audience about my journey.
Transparency is great, but relevance is king.
Right.
If you're writing a script, every single sentence has to serve the thesis. And if the thesis is mocking widows is wrong, then an apology for a video from 3 weeks ago, it just doesn't serve.
So how do we fix it? Because the point about J.P. Sears is actually relevant. He also mocked the widow. We don't want to lose that.
No, you do a surgical removal of the fluff.
Okay.
You cut the apology, you cut the t-shirt, you cut the internal debate, you boil it all down to one single sentence.
Give me the sentence.
Even satirical creators like J.P. Sears, who usually just makes jokes, cross the line here by joining in on the mockery.
That's it?
That's it. That is all you need. You've established the behavior as widespread, you've named the other person, and you've kept the focus on the victim.
And you saved, what, 2 minutes of rambling?
And you kept the tension high. It's so much cleaner. It keeps the momentum moving forward instead of, swirling around the host's personal diary.
Okay.
All right, let's tackle the final piece of the puzzle, the political analysis. This is, I think, the trickiest part of the script because it deals with indoctrination, Zionism, free thinking.
Yeah, the logic gets a little pretzel-shaped here.
It does.
The writer is trying to call out a contradiction in Owens' political alliances, specifically her shift towards Bassem Youssef's anti-Israel stand, but the script gets really bogged down in sarcasm.
And sarcasm is such a dangerous tool in analysis. It feels good to write, but it can completely obscure your point. The script asks these rhetorical questions like, how does that work exactly? And it mocks the idea of growth. The problem is, if you don't clearly define your term, the audience doesn't know why you're being sarcastic.
They just hear you being dismissive.
Exactly.
Right. The script claims Owens is indoctrinated because she's listening to Youssef, but Owens would claim she's waking up.
Or being a free thinker. Yeah.
Right. So the script relies on the listener already agreeing that anti-Zionism equals indoctrination. If you don't agree with that premise, the whole joke just falls flat.
The argument is totally circular. It's, she's wrong because she disagrees with me. We need to find the structural hypocrisy, not just the political disagreement.
So how do we steelman this? How do we make the logic sound?
I think you have to focus on the method of her change, not just the result. The text mentions she used to be against the Zionist lobby narrative, and now she's for it. The contradiction isn't that she changed her mind.
People are allowed to do that.
People are allowed to change their minds. The contradiction is that she claims to be a skeptic, but she is uncritically accepting a whole new narrative.
Okay, so instead of that sarcastic rant about, oh, look at her growth, how do we phrase it?
We phrase it something like this. Owens frames her shift as breaking free from indoctrination. However, by uncritically accepting Youssef's framing without any pushback, she isn't rejecting indoctrination, she is simply swapping one script for another.
Oh, that is sharp. Swapping one script for another.
Right, that isolates the mechanism. It says, you claim to be a freethinker, but you're actually just a serial follower. First you followed one side, now you follow the other. You never actually did the thinking part.
That is a much more sophisticated critique than just shouting, you're brainwashed.
Yeah.
It attacks the intellectual laziness rather than just the political stance.
And that's really the theme of this entire rewrite, isn't it? Moving from just raw emotion to a sophisticated critique.
It is. The raw material here, the anger, the moral intuition, it's all correct. The writer is right to be angry. Mocking a grieving spouse it's just low behavior.
It is.
But the script, as it stands, is a blunt instrument. It's a club. We want to turn it into a scalpel.
I love that image. A club makes a mess. A scalpel performs surgery.
Exactly. You want to cut out the bad behavior and expose it, not just smash everything in sight.
So let's recap the action plan for our listener. If they want to take this script from, say, a B- rant to an A+ commentary, what are the 4 moves? Okay, move number 1. Elevate the discourse. Go through the document and Control F for every single insult. Dingbat, imbecile, witch, delete them.
All of them?
All of them. Replace them with cold, hard descriptions of the actions. Let the audience come to the conclusion that these people are cruel. Don't force it on them.
Move number 2. Convict with evidence, not mind reading. Drop the woman scorned or secret love theory. It's weak.
So weak.
Pivot to the grieving standards hypocrisy. It's undeniable and it's documented.
Move number 3. Focus. Kill the internal monologue. No one needs to hear about the t-shirt idea or the channel updates in the middle of a serious critique.
Please no.
Cut that JPCR section down to one single sentence that serves the main argument.
In move number 4, clarify the logic. Drop the sarcasm in the political section. Clearly explain how the subject is being hypocritical by trading one form of indoctrination for another, rather than just mocking them for their views.
If the writer makes those 4 changes, this piece won't just be a vent session. It will be a definitive takedown.
And that's what this story deserves. It deserves a critique that is as serious as the subject matter itself.
Absolutely. So we hope this helps you tighten up the draft. It's a powerful topic. So give it the powerful writing it needs. Rewrite it, polish it up, and send it back in. We'd love to see the version 2.0.
Can't wait to read it.
That does it for this critique. Keep writing.